Right, guys, let's talk about set builder notation. Okay, set builder notation is a bit different. We've learned about notation. We've learned about the number line, identifying the number line, and we've learned about interval notation. Now, what is set builder notation that's different? Okay, so there's a few things that we need to know about set builder notation. One is the bracket that we use there. It would be that bracket. So here we're looking for a real number. I'm going to highlight real number because it's going to become very important in set builder notation. And this number is between 2 and 3. I'm going to highlight that, okay? So how we would represent this in set builder notation? We would say x. No, we're talking about a here. We're not talking about x, okay? Sorry, so it's going to be a. It could have been x. It could have been any variable. But in this case, we're talking about a. So I'm going to say a. These are values of a such that, okay, a is between 2 and 3. We know that. Let's assume that we're including 2 and 3, okay, because they haven't really been clear here. 2 and 3. Right. Now, this is where this we know already in notation. This is exactly what we would have. But in set builder notation, we have another line. And I want to write it in red because this is where really the difference comes from. This is a is an element of real numbers, okay? Element of real numbers, okay? And then we close the bracket, okay? That is basically the only difference. It's the brackets, okay, that I use, the type of brackets, and we'll have the variable such that colon, and then this is exactly what we had in notation, so that's not new. And then we would specify from which set or which group of numbers does it belong to. So this is a real number. It could have also been, this is not a real number, this is a natural number. It could have been natural number. It could have been an integer, okay, but they specified here that we're talking about real numbers. Okay, let's look at another example. So we get the another example. It says b is an integer less than 0. Okay, we know how to do this in number line. We've already learned that. We know how to do this in notation. We also know how to do that in interval notation. Now, set builder notation, we know already we're going to use the different sets of brackets. We're talking about variable b, so we're going to go b values such that we know we will deal with so numbers that are integers that are less than 0, okay? So we're going to go to negative infinity, and we're going to go with b, we're going to go, it is 0. Let's assume that it's 0 there, it's inclusive, because it's not really clear, okay? The numbers are less than 0, okay? Now, what do we need to specify? So we do that comma again, and then we say this b is going to be an element of integers, and then we close our bracket, okay? So our bracket is special in this case, and we specify from which number system, which type of number is it. That's the only thing that we do, and we have a different comma and a colon that says such that. So that's the only difference. Let's look at one last example. 7, okay? X is an integer less than 7. Just one last example is x is an integer less than 7. X is an integer less than, check there. Okay, very similar to the previous one. I'm just going to write it up here. Let me use elo. So I'm going to show x such that it's negative infinity and it is x and it is 7, and then we do that comma, and then we say x is an element of integers, okay, and then I close bracket. That is set builder notation. Okay, that is set builder notation, bracket, and you specify from which group of numbers does it come from.